Hello and welcome to episode 3 of us doing a deep dive on the market data so that we can bring you guys all of the facts and all of the numbers so that you can stay on top of what's truly going on in the housing market.
Yes. With the fluctuation of interest rates, with the inventory rising, we want to be able to lay it out there so that you all know what to expect through the end of the year from the national standpoint and also from a local Florida standpoint, so you know whether now's the time to buy or buy later.
Yeah, so should you buy now? Should you buy later? We do believe that there is a silver lining for home buyers.
So let's talk about interest rates. First, interest rates have been fluctuating a lot. This is looking back, so this is as of last week. So if you watched our last week's video, we talked about interest rates being at 4.99%. Lona and I is quick on a draw. We're staying, keeping our finger on the trigger, so to speak. But this is looking last week. They were at 4.99, and I believe today I saw where the mortgage rates were averaging right around 5.45%. So they are fluctuating a lot. And why is it important that we talk about interest rates constantly? Well, I think interest rates and inflation are your primary, they go together, right? So interest rates are one of the primary driving factors of the market, whether we have buyers being able to afford homes now or not be able to afford homes. And so I think it's an important topic to discuss.
Sure. I believe that inflation is the enemy of mortgage rates. So let's dive into that and look at the projections for the quarters ahead.
Yeah, so the experts are saying, and when we say experts, the expert analysts, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, the Mortgage Bankers Association, and the National Association of Realtors all put out their projections every quarter on what they think interest rates are going to do. And if you look at this graph here, it says that by the fourth quarter of 2022, the average of all of the analysts is 5.33%. So they think interest rates will be at 5.33% at the end of the fourth quarter, 5.2% at the end of the first quarter of 2023, and then 5.18%, and then 4.97%. So you can see that they believe that the interest rates are going to pretty much stay around where they are right now. They may go down a little bit by the third quarter of 2023, but as of right now, they believe the interest rates are going to pretty much stay on par with what they are. So if you're on the fence waiting for lower interest rates, this would be something that kind of tells you that waiting for a lower interest rate may not be the best option, at least according to the top analyst.
And this is good news, guys, because we know by looking at this data that interest rates are projected to stay steady over the next 12 months. So if you are on the fence about buying, like Doug mentioned, this gives you an idea of where we're at, where we're going to end up, so that you can make the most informative decision.
Yeah. In fact, there's this quote from a guy named Joel Kahn at CNBC. He's an economist. And the quote is, "There could be a potential silver lining for the market." He added that stabilizing mortgage rates and rising inventory may bring some buyers back to the market during the second half of the year. So as Lona and I brought up in a previous video, we talked about us being a few of these different scenarios where the market slowed down, people freaked out, and there was this time period, like 6 months, when people kind of don't do anything. You hear crickets, and it's a lot of times the buyers are pumping those brakes. Well, this quote goes right along with that. He believes that buyers are going to start coming back to the market once they feel like, okay, interest rates aren't going to change much. I don't want my life to be on hold for them,
right.
So I'm going to move forward.
Yes, that will definitely put some minds at ease. I believe so.
So let's talk about home prices.
Yes, I know that's a big question on everybody's mind right now.
Yeah. So what do the top forecasters say is going to happen to home prices? Well, this is going to be quite shocking for you. If you look at this slide here, home forecasts through the end of 2022, you can see that on the lowest side, the Mortgage Bankers Association believes that home prices will go up nationally by 2.7%. And the highest is 16%, which is Fannie Mae, a government organization. They believe that home prices will go up 16%. The average nationally is that they'll go up 10.3% nationally.
Wow.
Now, what does that mean? Well, you have to compare that to the normal. The normal average for our home prices is around 3 to 4%.
Just in a normal, healthy market, the national average is generally around 3 to 4%.
Here in Florida, it's more around, and particularly like Southwest Florida, it's right around that 10% mark is what we've seen. And we were getting 30% during the crazy time.
More than 35%.
Yeah. And so I think that we're going to start moving down toward that 10% mark, but we still may be getting 20%. So again, going back to it, if you're waiting on home prices to come down, looking at the top analysts, that may not be the case. And the reason why is because we're still seeing a lot of buyers in the market in comparison to the inventory.
I mean, 10% is rocking, right? That's more than 3 times the national average in a healthy marketplace. So, if you're thinking that prices are going to fall through the floor and you may not want to invest in something because you don't know if it will keep its value or not, you really want to put some consideration into that because from the projections, it looks like that is just not the case.
And to follow that up, here's a quote by a guy named Mark Zandi. He's a chief economist at Moody's, well-known analytics company. He said, "I don't think national housing prices will decline in a meaningful way, but there will be some price declines across the country." And we are seeing that, especially here in Florida. And a lot of that has to do with, again, we've said this before, but we're seeing price decreases because people, what would happen is when you were ready to price your home, you look at what your neighbor's home sold for, and let's just add $50,000 on top of that, and then people were getting it during this past couple of years. Well, that's not working right now. We actually have to look at what homes are selling for and price homes accordingly. So you're seeing all these people that had extravagant listing prices, and they're having to reduce those now.
Sure. Yeah, like sellers were just naming their price. The comps didn't make any sense, and people were overbidding even what we thought was an outrageous asking price to begin with. So,
and appraisals weren't a factor because those are cash buyers in most of those cases.
Most of those scenarios are cash buyers, and then sellers were demanding appraisal gaps, complete appraisal gaps. So yeah, that kind of threw the appraisal factor out the window.
Yeah. So that brings us to this next subject. Here's the top 3 analysts and their forecast. So they reforecasted. They forecasted at the beginning of the year what they thought the total number of sales would be, and then they reforecasted, which is typical in our real estate industry because things change, and as things change, they reforecast things. So what happened with current inflation and the slowdown?
And when we say they, we mean Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, and Mortgage Bankers Association.
Yes, exactly. And so if you look at these 3 forecasters, they believe that at low end, 5.8 million home sales will happen by the end of the year. And on the high end, there will be 6.4 million home sales at the end of the year, that forecast.
So basically, you guys, if we end up with 5.1 million home sales this year, that might look really low to you compared to 2020 or 2021. But if you look at even 2019, 2018, really we're just getting back to what a normal market looked like prior to the pandemic. Still a great year for sales. It just feels like we're going a lot slower right now in comparison to the previous 2 years.
Exactly. So if you're thinking, to answer that last question, buy now or buy later, we think the 3 reasons to buy now are: 1, there's fewer multiple offers on the market. When you go write an offer on a home here in Florida, you're going to experience fewer multiple offer situations, which is a good thing. That means a better price on a home. And then fewer homes here nationally and here in Florida are selling over asking price. It felt like every home was selling over asking price just a few months ago. Now we're having a lot fewer going over asking price, plus contingencies. We had to waive contingencies before, like home inspections and things like that. Well, now we're finding sellers have to be more flexible in those things. So that's another reason why you might want to consider buying now. And then the third is the supply of homes. Like we mentioned, the inventory is growing, and with inventory growing, that means you'll have more options. So I would be, if you're considering buying, I'd be on the lookout for homes to come up in your price range. What you want to do is look in the comments section. I post a link there of our website. You can go on there, and that updates with the newest inventory, the newest listings every 5 minutes. So you will get alerted whenever a new listing hits the market. And then also, if you're a seller and you're thinking about selling, it's also a great time to do so because there's still more buyers in the market than there are sellers. I wouldn't wait too much longer to get your home sold. I'd put it on the market and get top dollar for it today. You're still going to do really, really well on it.
Absolutely. You're still going to get top dollar. You know, we didn't say there weren't any multiple offer scenarios. There still are those. There's just fewer. Buyers are starting to gain a little bit of their negotiation powers back, but still, guys, 51% of homes are still selling for over asking price. So it is still a seller's market. Buyers, I would encourage you to jump back in because we know things are going to be steady, and that's a good sign. It's still going to be competitive out there, but it's not going to be impossible like it has been over the past couple years.
Yes, and so if you want to find out what your home is worth, we put a link down there for you as well. And for buyers and sellers, we have a free report that will make things simple for you, what to do to get your home sold, and then for buyers, what to do to get prepared for buying a home. If you would like one of those free reports, I'm going to put those links down in the comments section as well.
Perfect.
Hopefully you learned a lot from this video. I'm Doug Lugers.
I'm Lona Lugers.
Thanks for watching.
See you next week.